Welcome to the Experience Strategy Podcast. I'm Aranza Savas, and I'm here with Joe Pine, author of The Experience Economy and so many other best-selling books, most recently, The Transformation Economy book, which I say wrong every time, even though I'm literally looking at the book. Actually, I did say it right.
You
and
did
I
say it
just
right.
now I'm so nervous about saying it wrong. Okay. And, we like to give you more information than you knew you needed, like how hard it is for me to remember the name of Joe's well-titled book and well-received book, which, more on that, as well as Dave Norton, who is an experienced strategist and has long been known as the guy to talk to about experience strategy trends. So you're really going to hear a lot from both of them today because this fits solidly in the work that they've been doing over the last decades. Today's featured article is from the Wall Street Journal, dated June 3rd, 2026. The author is Jackie Snow. It was published online that day. Not totally sure if they included it in print. The title of the article is What is Personalized Pricing and Why Are Lawmakers Scrambling to Ban It? Companies already track your every move online. Some researchers say it's only a matter of time until retailers start using that data to set prices just for you. I'll jump in and say that the title of that article was really interesting to me because I thought, wait, they aren't already doing that?
Right, exactly.
I have long lived under the assumption that Amazon was changing prices based on consumer behavior. And that I was for sure paying more than everyone else. But maybe that's
Google
just
that
paranoia.
Just to see. I'm gonna Google it just to see.
Okay.
Right?
What's your search term, Dave?
Does Amazon change prices for individuals? So we'll see what it says. But in the meantime, it's a really interesting thing. I mean, dynamic pricing has been around for a long time, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of it has been driven by seasons. So in the summertime, you can expect certain prices to go up on flights based on, popularity has always been part of it. So you can't get a ticket to go to the World Cup unless you've got, thousands of dollars.
The cost of your resort in Mexico is
Right.
a quarter of the price in summer.
Right, exactly.
The guy who sells umbrellas triples the price during a thunderstorm.
So I think this article is like, it's not about personalizing. I guess it is. It's about
it's hyper personalizing.
I know you
context.
Right. Yeah. And so I know your context. I know your situation. I know that every morning you take your kid to school using Uber. Which is an example that they used. And so I'm going to raise the price on you. For that particular piece. I think that's really what it's talking about.
That example, of course, being super interesting because it disincentivizes loyalty.
Right.
Which is a big issue.
Yeah.
Exactly. So why would I stick with Uber? I would go to Lyft immediately. I'd go to
what if Lyft did it?
Well,
right. Go to your local vendor. There's the answer because they don't have all this data.
Or the companies can begin to look at the individual's data and say, how do I keep this customer longer and therefore return on investment, which we all want. And that would suggest that they would keep the prices at least competitive.
What they have to understand is it's not a one period model. It's not about getting the most price for this particular good on Amazon, this particular ride on Uber, this particular flight on Delta, etc. It's about the lifetime value of this customer, and it's not necessarily about maximizing that either, but at least moving in that direction where the customer feels like they're happy with the value they get for the price that they're paying. I'm a customization guy, and it is customization. I'm a business guy. And it might be good business, but probably not for the most part. And I'm an economics guy, and I do understand that dynamic pricing and even individualized pricing here, personalized pricing they call it, can be market clearing and help be the most efficient use of resources. I am a big proponent, Arances, of price gouging. I don't understand why people, where do you think those guys are with the umbrellas when it rains, right? They come out. And if you didn't get a good price for it, they'd say, why am I not coming out?
Agree. No, I think contextually, it's one thing, right? That person didn't plan. They didn't bring an umbrella. They didn't look at the forecast to know it was going to rain.
And guess what? They really want an umbrella.
Correct. And I agree that you should pay more for perfectly timed suite
Exactly
at
when
your
you need
hotel
it.
in Mexico
Exactly.
than you should in the middle of summer when nobody's going to come. I'm all for that.
Right.
But what I think is really dangerous is where we start hyper personalizing based on
Yes.
assumptions about people.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so just in case you're interested, according to Google, Amazon does not use personalized pricing. What they do is it's either based on every 10 minutes based on competitor pricing, inventory levels, and overall item popularity, not based on your need for that particular thing.
You mean, in other words, Amazon is really good at hiding it, is what you're really saying? Because I don't believe that.
I'm going to ask a different question now of Google. Does Amazon do regionalized or location-based pricing?
They do.
Yes.
So
that's.
But most of that's in terms of shipping costs, local taxes, and they also
Listen to this though. This says on Amazon Prime. Okay, this says known to use price discrimination tactics that can offer different prices based on a user's location, browsing history, purchase behavior, and membership status, e.g. Amazon Prime. To me, that's exactly what we're talking about here.
That is, exactly. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And price discrimination, again, makes economic sense. Price discrimination, it's not like racial discrimination, right? It's for getting people to pay the most that they're willing to pay, ideally for what they get. And
although I do think the article did bring up that if you're using zip codes, it's equivalent to using race.
Correct.
In many cases. So there can be some targeting, really destructive targeting. If somebody needs something badly because they live in a food desert, and then you charge them more money.
Or someplace where a tornado hit, for example.
Or something along that line.
Right.
Then we need to be paying attention to. On the other side of this, the consumer is going to have even more powerful tools in the future.
Right.
And so
suss this out. They will absolutely be able to suss it out.
So, it's not going to take long for technology to be like, hey, we'll support you so that you can, like if you could buy this thing on Amazon, but you can get it from Walmart for less expensive price, then you're going to go there, right?
And ChatGPT should absolutely be able to tell me that. The fact that it can't or doesn't,
but it will,
makes it feel useless.
I would look for it on Gemini first.
Yeah.
I wouldn't look at it on ChatGPT, but I would look for it on Gemini because Google's model, the way Google's models works, and also because of Apple now using Gemini as kind of their Siri platform. I'll bet you that's where you're going to see those types of opportunities, which is great.
Great.
Yeah.
That's great.
And I think,
consumer should
Google
get some
has
benefit
more
out
of
of
that.
all this info.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rancis.
Go ahead, Joe.
Google has more of that actually for the user mentality than Amazon often does when it gets to that. And Amazon has a great view of innovating for customers, but they try and get every single penny that they can out of things. I'll tell you a little story. This was a long time ago, maybe 15 years, maybe 20. Coca-Cola announced that it was going to do dynamic pricing. And they said that in their vending machines, they're going to make it so it can respond to the weather. So when it's hot out, they'll charge more than when it's cold out, which tells you Coca-Cola is not the marketing genius that it thinks it is, because what it should have said is when it's cold out, we'll charge less than when it's hot out. They got lambasted by saying they're going to raise the price when it's hot out and never, ever did it. And seriously, all they had to do was say they're going to charge less when it's cold out. The cost. Right? Yeah, and everybody said, wow, that's fantastic. That sort of thing.
Well, and I think that's an interesting...
How people present it, how they view it. And people will never, ever view this as a good thing. Right?
Yeah, because it works against their interests.
Not a one-period model.
Yeah. And to be fair to Amazon, I think that more often than not, I see prices going down on items,
I agree with
not going up necessarily on items. And so, and there's a wide range of selection. So if one product is, like whatever they're recommending is not the best price, I can choose something else.
Well, that's part two of a pretty traditional marketing scheme, which is, I think the rule is like you have to have like there's a very I don't know the exact number, but you have to have you have to have a certain like number of minutes or days where the price is at a higher level in order to mark it as on sale. And so they will do a very temporary increase to then show you the next day that it's 47% off. But really that was just the price it was.
Yeah.
They just took a second there and ramped it up so that they could say it was reduced. So that's, I think, why we feel like we're seeing prices reduced. Most of us aren't actively tracking it, and we're
for a long time too.
What's that?
Physical stores have done that for a long time too.
Yeah.
Right. Well, okay. I was going to go there next.
I remember passing one store that like limited time sale, and I saw it for a year. I passed it. It's 40% off limited time, right? Well, I passed by that store every time, and it said.
Well, if we're going to do historical stories, why is Kmart no longer around? Partly it's because of the experience. But partly it's because of the blue light sales. And a lot of people probably don't remember the blue light sales, but
blue light special.
Consumers got tired of trying to have to show up at the right time for just the right price and stuff like that. And Walmart cleaned their clock.
Right.
So pricing models can be a part of business models. And consumers will leave if they feel like it's just like a constant battle to get the best price.
Right.
They're not going to stick around. And the government does get involved. And I think that's what's happening to Ticketmaster right now.
And that's the way my wife is. I always thought blue light specials are for the blue-haired people, but anyway, my wife is the sort of person who'll spend 50 cents on gas to save a quarter on a sale, right? But don't tell her I said that. And so she was like saving up all this stuff for Amazon Prime days, right? And checking prices and that sort of thing. And I'm like, my time is worth more than that. Right? If I want it, I need it. If I like the price, I'll buy it. I won't wait till it gets 10% lower, right? Because I'm somebody that they tend to love. But I'd also say is people don't value their time enough in these sorts of transactions where you're trying to game things in that. The physical coupons is the same way. It is pure price discrimination, right? Why are the coupons there? Because some people will only buy it when it's on price, and they give them these coupons. They'll get however much money they can get from them. They won't get any more than that, and other people will buy it off the list price when they go to the store.
I think it's hilarious that Amazon has a little button you can click to get a coupon. I mean, I don't know if you guys have
seen just that. To buy it, but the psychology there, of course, is that
it's psychological.
Yep.
Like why wouldn't you just
because they wouldn't get the benefit if we didn't have to do that click.
That's true.
They are pushing the sale by pushing the coupon.
Yeah.
Right. In the opposite direction, there's a lot of resellers on Amazon. I forget what they call marketplace buyers. Right?
Yeah.
That will list some things for like 10 times what they're worth, just because a few people, maybe like me, right, don't pay attention and say, okay, I'm willing to pay that and pay it. They always, you can always find things like that.
You bring up an important topic, which is consumers don't value their time enough when it comes to buying things. And I think that's built into a lot of retail models. I think that, if I'm on site, on location, and we've seen kind of this ebb and flow, when e-commerce first took off, a lot of companies wouldn't let you take your phones, take pictures of the store because they didn't want you to see what prices were online. That doesn't last very long, and then it clears out. And the smarter companies were the ones that said, hey, we're going to have an e-commerce presence. We're going to get ahead of that, and we're going to make it so that you get to choose how it is that you buy. And where we're at now with the consumer, I think we would all agree, is it really depends on the situation that I find myself in. I'm perfectly happy to have some things delivered to my door. I'm perfectly happy to go to certain places. I will pay an extra fee for it to be delivered to my door if that's the appropriate thing to happen. So it's that's all about time management.
It's a trade-off. And I am a die-hard online grocery shopping loyalist, and I very happily pay my $200 or whatever. I don't even know what the price is because I don't care each year for my subscription for Stop and Shop to deliver my groceries. I very happily pay an extra $20 in tip to the delivery guy each week. That said, I also believe that I have an exceptionally low grocery bill each month. And I believe
you don't buy anything extra when you go to the store, like you would if you went to the store. Is that
correct?
The thing? Yeah.
first I've saved hours of time, right? Like
Right.
assume I save a quarter of a work week in grocery shopping, right? So I probably still spend 2 hours a month grocery shopping. That's 30 minutes a week. If I had to go to the store, it would be with the back and forth drive, with the loading and unloading, the actual shopping. Let's assume at a minimum 2 hours, right? And so like the time cost is huge. So okay, factor in a couple $1,000s there, then I able to very quickly, with much less sales pressure, factor in what I value, right? I search by unit price, right? That's how I sort because I like the idea that like I'm not going to get heckled by their little sales tactics when I see which yogurt is how, like what price per ounce.
Mhm.
And I'm able to do all of that so quickly. And they've made the experience for me really worthwhile by giving me those sorting options. And so, am I spending less per visit than I would if I went into their store? Probably.
Mhm.
Am I 100% loyal? Yes. Do they
Exactly.
at the end of the year get more of my share of dollars than they would
Exactly.
otherwise? Undoubtedly.
Mhm.
And I just think like it is a really smart strategy if you keep experience at the center. If they hadn't enabled the things that allow me to feel like it makes sense in my life, if they hadn't emphasized experience,
Mhm.
then it wouldn't be a no-brainer for me to give them whatever that subscription fee is and give them those dollars every single week. So I do think like it's a good example of what we're talking about here in terms of balancing experience and that sales data, because I know they've got to hit their bottom lines, but it also has to make sense to us as consumers.
Can
Absolutely.
you say who it is?
Stop and Shop.
All right.
Stop and Shop. Yeah.
Yep, they're great. I'm so happy with it. And even though like they mess up my delivery every week in some way, I'm still so happy.
Are your bananas ever bruised?
My bananas are sometimes bruised. I'll get a small bunch of beets that just look silly. I'm like, that's not a beet. Who picked this? There'll be a broken egg. Last week, the Instacart guy in the heat wave left all my groceries without ringing the doorbell. So I didn't know. But then I called them, and this is so cool. I called them, and I got the sweetest guy. He's my new best friend. He knows a guy whose last name is Savas in North Dakota. He was really lovely. And he was like, that's so terrible. I'm so sorry that happened. We're going to get this fixed for you right now. And I'm going to give you a refund on all of the groceries that potentially spoiled in that heat. And then if you want, I can put those items back in your cart for you and we can place a reorder right now so that we can get you a fresh order with that in the next 12 hours. Like that is an investment in the relationship. And so all those screw ups, I forgot. I was like, oh my God, I love my relationship with Stop and Shop. So
That's awesome.
All right, quick takeaways for the audience. Why should they care about this conversation, Dave?
Well, I think you're going to go through a period of time where the use of AI and the amount of data that companies have, they're going to use it to target you. They absolutely are. But it happens with every new innovation. They do stupid things that make you feel like you're just an object and you leave them. You block them. You screen them. You do all of these things and they have to stop. Okay. We now have better ways for companies to make a profit, one of which is subscription, which Arantis you've talked about for a long time as well, right? If you're paying a subscription, that should be part of the value proposition. There's different ways that come. So I would say, yeah, it could get unsettling at first, but I think it's going to even out in the next 3 to 5 years if it actually ever happens.
Great. Joe, last thoughts?
Well, I would say that one, understand as a consumer and what's potentially happening versus just for your business as well. But understand that information will out, right? That if you do this, your customers will find out, right? Absolutely. It may take a while, but they will find out. So the question is, would you do this if at the same time you did it, you simply told them, hey, by the way, we're doing this dynamic pricing and we're doing personalized pricing and we're charging you more because of X, Y, and Z, or we're charging you less because of X, Y, and Z. And if you're not willing to do that, don't start down that path. Right. And recognize in particular that it's not a one period model. It's not about this transaction, about the entire relationship. As Arantis just went through with Stop and Shop, where we have to tag when we post this post. which sounds like they understand where they really excelled is that human to human contact. When you finally had one, they excelled with the experience that they created, like Zappos is famous for.
Right.
And so recognize it as things become more digital. The other lesson is, sorry, what?
It was famous for until Amazon bought them.
When you have the human contact, that's when to shine, that's when to engage, that's when to create a great experience.
I love it. Great stuff. And I love your point too about think about this not just as an experience strategist, but as a human, because it relates to you. But also, I like the idea that our audience, these experience strategists who are thinking about the future of experience strategy and what it means for their business, are going to be the ones in the room saying, hey, let's not do this in secret. Let's do this with a degree of transparency, because it will come out. All right. Yeah. Thanks for listening. All of you out there, continue the conversation with us over on the experience strategy podcast.com over on Substack. We'll see you there.